Alright YouTube, you asked for Wraith and that's exactly what you're going to be getting in this video. You're going to learn everything you need to know about playing Wraith. If you guys are new, please consider subscribing as it would really help me out, and like the video at the end if you enjoyed. Also, the Duos mode is coming to an end next Tuesday, I believe. So if you want that mode to be permanent, comment down below, and if you didn't like the mode, tell me why down below in the comments. Without further ado, let's hop right into some Wraith tips. Alright, yes, I meant to do that in the intro, okay? I wanted to see who was sleeping and who was paying attention, alright? So if you didn't see that and you're watching this, you missed out. But you probably saw it if you're watching this, so who knows? Anyways, guys, the topics we're going to be covering today are, of course, her passive ability, Wraith's passive, Wraith's Voidwalker ability or her Q, Wraith's portal or her ultimate ability, and then last but not least, I am going to be telling you guys some facts or some extra tricks that you guys didn't know about Wraith. So let's get into it. Alright, let's start off with Wraith's passive ability, okay? Her passive will tell you when enemies are targeting her. And this reminds me a lot of a WWE wrestler that I used to like back in the day. Yes, I was a kid once. Yes, I know it's fake. Don't have to say it in the comments. It's fake. It's fake. WWE is not real. You're a big nerd for watching it. Yeah, no crap. I know this. I don't watch it anymore, alright? Sorry for having a childhood. If you didn't watch it back in the day, you're missing out, first of all. But anyways, yeah. She hears voices in her head like Randy Orton over here. I'm not going to play the track because I'm going to get copywritten for it, but seriously, she says things out loud such as enemies are targeting me so that you can notify your teammates of the danger that's around you. This can give you the slight advantage of knowing when you're about to get shot at or ran up on. So get your finger on that phase button, get your finger on the portal buttons so you can escape damage if you start getting shot at. Alright, now I know I didn't talk about her passive ability for that long, and that's because it's pretty simple. But when we move on to her Voidwalker or her Q ability, it gets more in depth and there's a lot more that she can do with it, okay? So using the Voidwalker ability makes you become invincible for about 5 seconds. You can use Wraith's Q by pressing her tactical button, which is set to your LB button on Xbox, or L1 on PS4 if you're using your default controls. This will allow you to become invincible for around 5 seconds while only showing a faint trail behind you. Don't be fooled though, if players are decently skilled and not completely blind using their stick to move around, they will easily be able to follow your trail and get that first shot on you when you come out of your ability. If you combine Wraith's Q and her portal, she becomes extremely fast, so definitely take that into consideration if you are getting yourself into a little bit of a pickle. You can also use Wraith's Q in the storm in order to prevent taking damage. This can be extremely useful when you're running out of health right near the circle's edge, or you're getting gate kept by a team and need to rotate back through the storm in order to survive. So let's say it's closing in on the end of a game, or a team with a WATTSON has you blocked off from a certain area of the map. Just hitting Wraith's Q can easily allow you to get around her traps or go right through them without taking any damage at all. Like I said before though, just beware after coming out of the Q, enemies might be gunning for you, so have your teammates locate them and let you know exactly where they are. Very similarly to the WATTSON traps, you can also hit your Wraith Q in order to stop taking damage from caustic traps or caustic's Nox gas. This also won't trigger any traps that haven't already been set off in case you don't want to let the enemy know that you are nearby. Now, hitting Wraith's Q while a Crypto is using his EMP ultimate ability can save you 50 shield, while other players will have to quickly drop their shield in order to avoid taking damage from this. FYI, this is extremely hard to do on console, dropping your shield in time before the EMP goes off, especially if you're getting shot at in the process. I have though seen PC players do this without much struggle, so just keep that in mind. Hitting Wraith's Q during a Bangalore or Gibraltar's airstrike can save you extra health, especially if you have no way of escaping the strike zone in time. Otherwise, if you're on the edge of the area where they call the airstrike in at, it should be fairly easy to escape without taking damage or with taking minimal damage. Also, if you're on your way up a Pathfinder zipline and an enemy is in the location that you're ziplining towards, hit your Q to prevent taking damage while still riding on the zipline. This can also surprise enemies and they might not see it coming if you're lucky. So that's all I have to say about Wraith's Voidwalker ability or her Q. Until the end of the video, I do have a couple other facts, so if I miss something that you're wanting to hear about, it might be at the end of the video. And let's get right into talking about using her ultimate ability or her portal. So Wraith's portal is a huge weapon in her arsenal. You can use the portal or her ultimate ability by pressing LB and RB on Xbox or L1 and R1 on PS4 if you are using the default controls. Now I'm going to talk about a ton of different situations that you can use her portal for and different things you can do with it. Starting that off, I just want to talk for a second about endgame rotations. Now, I could list over 100 different endgame portal rotations you could use, but we don't have time for that today. So I'm going to be going over the most common 2 of them, which is either when you get shot at and another team is running into the zone at the exact same time as you, or the other team is already in the zone and you have to get in while they're shooting at you. If you're both running in, then try to phase and make a portal in the zone onto some high ground to gain better position and catch your enemies off guard while they are running in. And if your opponent is already in the circle and you want to make a portal somewhere where they're not shooting at you, obviously, you want to get behind some cover so that you have time to heal up and then engage in the fight. So the next usage of Wraith's portal would be to get yourself and your teammates out of the zone. Let's say you're just fighting a team deep into the zone, you end up killing them off, and you happen to be very far away from where the next zone is closing. This would be a very good time to use Wraith's portal because she can create a passage for you and your squad to take without taking as much storm damage. This can also be if you can get just enough in front of the zone to ultimately outrun it. This is a huge plus because nobody likes getting hit by the zone and using all their meds to try to get out. So the next thing would be using portals to transport down teammates or teammates that are in trouble. This is something a lot of beginning Wraith mains don't think about or just don't utilize, and that's using your portal to re-enter the storm to get a down teammate back to the zone, and or portaling to a down teammate in a fight so that they can get into cover and not get thirsted. No one likes getting thirsted by that Gibby who has 20 total kills on their account, so Wraith should do everything that she can to prevent this from happening. This will especially work from far away since it will be a lot easier to portal into cover and get the revive off. Now another thing a lot of Wraiths don't do is use your portals to block off a doorway so that enemies can't enter. You can actually use your portal to block off doorways and make most buildings a one-way entry point. This way, if they try to knock down the door or enter through that certain doorway, they'll end up transporting to wherever the portal ends. Another thing you can do with this is if there's 2 main doors in a building, you can make your portal facing away from both entrances, and this will make it really tough for the enemy to get a clear shot on you and actually get into the building. This is an extremely important tip to put into action after placing your portal down. You always want to keep an eye on the portal in your field of view and be expecting someone to come out of it at any time. You never want to turn your back to a portal because as soon as you do, someone will come through it. Maybe that's just my luck, but it happens to me all the time. And a good way of making sure that enemies can't come through as easily is throwing caustic traps down at the exit of the portal or placing watching traps around it in a triangle. Doing these 2 things will stun the enemy and give you enough time to hopefully melt them. Now most times your enemy takes your portal, it will not work out well for them as your team should be keeping an eye on it at all times, but there's a few things you can do to make the situation even worse when they take it. First of all, like I said, you can load up on caustic and WATTSON traps or even throw a few thermites or arc stars at the exit of the portal, and if timed right, the enemies could be coming out at the same time and they will get absolutely obliterated. Secondly, you could bait them into potentially falling off the map if you end the portal correctly. And finally, you can end your portal in midair so that they'll be insanely confused as they come out of it, and you should be able to get the first shot on them. So I've mentioned positioning so many times in my past videos, and oh look, here it is again. I can't stop drilling it into your guys' heads because it plays a huge part in winning games in Apex Legends, or any battle royale for that matter. Using Wraith's portal can help you get great positioning. Let's say you're on high ground and down an enemy on the low ground below you. You can use Wraith's portal to go finish off that enemy and still be able to instantly go back up and obtain your high ground once again and have your positioning back. Now the last thing I want to talk about while using Wraith's portal is if you are in an end game and the circle is super tiny or there is no circle left because it gets to that point. This is very rare that this actually happens. Most of you will end the game by this point, but you can actually use Wraith's portal at the end of the game. The zone is completely closed. You can portal back and forth without taking huge chunks of damage while the enemy is going to be slowly dying to zone or keep having to heal. Or if the circle is very, very tiny, you can actually throw the enemies off by placing a portal in the center of it and bringing it outside the zone. This way you'll either be waiting for your enemy to come back through it, or the portal will make them lose a ton of health by putting them out of zone for a little bit. So now it's that point in the video that if I forgot something, it should be mentioned here. Let's hope. These are some other facts that you guys should be aware of if you didn't know already. First things first, Wraith has one of the smallest, if not the smallest hitbox in Apex Legends. Since she runs like Naruto with her hands behind her back and her head down, she is always trucking through the competition like Jerome Bettis. Wraith also takes 5% extra damage compared to other characters in Apex Legends. Wraith is a great character and all, but beware when choosing her that she does come with some flaws, including the low profile perk, which makes her take 5% more damage than other characters who don't have this perk. You're always going to want to use those movement techniques that we've learned to dip, dodge, and doodle bob around enemies. You'll especially be hard to hit while playing Wraith because of her small hitbox. Now if you're stuck by an arc star, you can actually go into your Q or your Voidwalker mode and it will drop the arc star to the ground and not affect or hit you. This can though hit your enemies if they're close enough, so make sure that they are a safe distance away from you. You can respawn teammates and then make a portal back to their loot for easy access. If a teammate ends up going down, they're not going to want to loot up for a whole new kit if they have a gold shield and whatever else. So just make a quick portal back to their loot and they will definitely thank you for that. Now 3 extra facts that you guys might want to know is if another Wraith is in Voidwalker mode at the same time as you, you will see them in real time. There is no Wraith trail if you stand still while in Voidwalker mode. And last but not least, if you hit Wraith's Q, take into account that it takes a couple seconds to activate. I've been shot and killed many times where the Q took too long to activate or I didn't give it enough time, so just be aware of that. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and thanks for watching. Alright, so first things first. So first things first is Wraith runs. So first things first is that Wraith has one of the smallest, if not the smallest, hitboxes in Apex Legends. Since Wraith runs like Naruto, she has one of the... If you do happen to be stuck by an arc star while playing Wraith, you can just hit your Q button or your Voidwalker mode when you get stuck, and it will drop the arc star to the ground and not affect or hit you. It can though hit your teammates nearby, so make sure that they're a safe distance. You can actually go into Q. Oh my god, what am I talking about, guys? What the...